Welcome everyone to today's and the latest edition of IT and Insecurity News. Quite a lot happened again this week, just as every week these days in the last years and this year. So starting with PayPal account abuse en masse for unauthorized payments. All signs point to an attack exploiting PayPal's Google Pay integration because more integration and the most integration. So what's happening according to news, February 25th this week, that PayPal told news that they have addressed an issue being exploited over the weekend. Original article below: hackers have found a bug in PayPal's and Google's Google Pay integration and are now, last week, using it to carry out unauthorized transaction via PayPal accounts. And also I always wonder, recurring theme here, do not integrate everything, because the more integration, the more can certainly go wrong. I really wonder why. Personally, I barely use this kind of features. The same goes for PayPal credit card. I don't see why I should have even more credit cards, but your mileage and security may vary. Apparently, so they found a bug there since last Friday. I saw a week ago. Mysterious transactions pop up on PayPal history. Issues have been reported on numerous platforms such as PayPal forums, Reddit, Twitter, Google Pay Russia, German support forums. Victims report that hackers abuse Google Pay accounts to buy products using linked PayPal accounts. Fun fact, do not link all the stuff always. I also personally, so not only do I not all those, like if we use PayPal for something, then I use PayPal for something and do not add and link each and every credit card and whatnot. And certainly, in any case, it's good to separate some stuff. So if you have some credit card from your bank, I don't see a reason why you need a credit card also from PayPal and an airline and who knows what. Estimated damages range from tens of thousands of euros based on public reports, go well over the 1,000 euro mark. Certainly quite a hefty thing there that you need to get back from PayPal. A German security researcher has a theory though on Twitter. German security researcher Markus Fenske said, hey, finally, proper pronunciation of names on this channel. Illegal transactions that have been reported over the weekend appear to be similar to bug he and fellow security researchers Andreas Meyer reported to PayPal in February 2019, like a year ago, because I need my Sun keyboard back here with fancy extra keys. So maybe potentially a year-old bug that PayPal did not prioritize to fix because YOLO, I guess. Fenske told ZDNet that the bug was found stems from the fact that when you link a PayPal account to a Google Pay account, PayPal creates a virtual card, like virtual credit card, complete with own card number, expiration date, and CVC. When Google Pay users choose to make a contactless payment using funds from their PayPal account, this transaction is charged via the virtual credit card. If the virtual credit card was locked to post-transaction only, there would be no issue, but PayPal allows the virtual card to be used for online transactions And so not only, this is API integration in 2019 or is 2020, integrating each other's payment service with virtual credit cards. What could possibly go wrong? Believes hackers found a way to discover the details of those virtual cards and are using the card details for unauthorized transactions at US stores. They said so. Anyway, PayPal is investigating, and your mileage may probably vary as per usual. In other breaking news that probably did not yet get the most attention and probably should, and it affects ourselves with Linux virtualization here on our Linux channel, but in general also is a state, in my opinion, of monolithic kernel Linux, of everyone changing as much as they can with each major version in all one single address space of monolithic kernel goodness. And Intel, of all companies already mentioned here in each week's security news, incomplete implementation of VMX check intercept is not fully implemented by KVM on Linux for Intel processors, causing, for example, an I/O or MSR interception bitmap not to be checked. In general, we can disable the instruction emulation on behalf on L1, but the series also implements I/O port checks. So yeah, 2020 major Linux virtualization security vulnerability that is due to half-baked code there. So much, yeah, recurring theme here. I said this already 100 times. Personally, I may more and more favor more microkernel approach of having all the stuff more separated. And in general, after 20 years running my own Linux distributions at T2 with all our Linux videos, even I, 20 years of doing this, getting totally tired of randomly changing everything for the sake of API changes, refactoring, modernizing, and yeah, half-baked new features that what could possibly go wrong. Speaking of what could possibly go wrong, CVE 2020-0688 remote code execution on Microsoft Exchange server through fixed cryptographic keys. That certainly already deserves the first here of that sort, because of course you should never have fixed cryptographic keys because that is so amateurish. The most recent patch Tuesday, Microsoft released an important rated patch to address a remote code execution bug in Microsoft Exchange server. This vulnerability was reported there as from an anonymous researcher and affects all supported versions of Microsoft Exchange server until the recent patch. Here's a quick video of a bug in action. Initially, Microsoft stated the bug was due to memory corruption vulnerability and could be exploited by specifically crafted emails sent to a vulnerable Exchange server, but have since revised their write-up to correctly indicate that the vulnerability results from Exchange server failing to properly create a unique cryptographic key at the time of installation. It's like, seriously, also click so much to mouse versus keyboards. You had one job and not properly create unique cryptographic keys at time of installation. Specifically, the bug found in the Exchange control panel ECP component. The nature of the bug is quite simply, instead of being randomly generated key on a per installation basis, all installations of Microsoft Exchange server have the same validation key and decryption key. Two thumbs up for this amazing achievement, but that's what we have known for Microsoft for 30 years already, since the purchase of DOS and renaming it MS-DOS and all the bugs and features and amazing code since then. Due to the use of the static key, an authenticated attacker can trick the server into deserializing malicious crafted view state data with the help and so on. The usual stuff. People commented it would be helpful if I say how they could fix this. Yeah, well, certainly in this case, in general, my rating of Microsoft products is rather around 0. So my recommendation in this case, don't use Microsoft products. Yeah, in this case of KVM, yeah, actually I use it myself. So maybe not use a single address space monolithic kernel. In the case of PayPal stuff, yeah, don't use all this over-series integration stuff. Use all the servers in a single stuff and certainly choose your services that are the most secure. Speaking of most secure, Kr00k, a serious vulnerability deep inside the Wi-Fi encryption, here formerly known as CVE 2019-15-126. Vulnerability allows in Broadcom and Cypress Wi-Fi chips, allows unauthorized decryption of some WPA2 encrypted traffic. Who is affected? Apparently million or billion of devices. Unpatched devices with Broadcom and Cypress full MAC Wi-Fi chips. Those are the most common Wi-Fi chips used today as client devices made by well-known manufacturers including Amazon, Echo, Kindle, Apple, iPhone, iPad, MacBook, Google Nexus, Samsung Galaxy, as well as devices under many other brands. So also security by obscurity, just closing this in some closed source stuff, especially so this was Broadcom and Cypress, even in this aging and garbage Retina MacBook Pro of mine that I'm phasing out because ThinkPad and Linux desktop and security and stuff. But one super annoying thing for me on those Apple devices like this, Broadcom chipset has only a partial open source reverse engineered driver that does not support this latest as in 6-year-old Broadcom chip. Recurring theme here, we need open source to review this stuff, otherwise you only find this kind of issues if you are a state actor, like a real black hacker or fellow folk. So disassemble and reverse engineer all this driver stuff, certainly much easier to find issues and improve. Even without the vendor's help, probably this needs a firmware update, I guess, a firmware that is loaded there in your Linux or Apple iPhone and stuff. Driver from the driver side loading there on runtime, similar to our FPGA goodness here on the other videos. So certainly such kind of stuff. That is why I personally always ask for open solutions, for source to review and stuff, because otherwise, if imagine this is a legacy device, which in case of this Retina MacBook Pro, certainly it is already, and it's not a AAA vendor, then most likely you will never get an update for that. That is why recurring theme here, open protocols, open hardware, open specification, and on this firmware driver level, it needs to be open source, because otherwise you are, even like on this Linux stuff, this is the only thing you could use this if you wanted to, which probably you don't even want, that closed source stuff, and then you are on, depending on the manufacturer, to maybe ever, if they still care about this at all, or peel the firmware out of the Mac driver update. But anyway, Wi-Fi access points and routers also affected by Kr00k. Making even environments with patch client devices vulnerable. And all in all, before patching these, there were more than 1 billion affected devices. Also, yes, security in 2020, and why I started to make this recurring shout out of all this stuff. Not really sure if they write, so they also have some check something. Not really sure if they here have some further downloads PDF now. Let's see if this had even loads in the browser. Amazing stuff. Didn't scroll through the PDF yet in case we are, do we even 0 frames? So much to that and loading. Anyway, in similar news, 2020 or 2019 secure vulnerabilities are only good with some proper name, like Ghostcat bug impacts all Apache Tomcat revisions since released in the last 13 years. So Ghostcat vulnerability can allow attackers to read configuration files on or plant backdoors on Tomcat servers. Recurring theme here, Apache Tomcat server released the last 13 years. Also here, so much to open source people working for free like me and you, and should review all this stuff. Also recurring shout out, open source needs more sponsorship and not companies only taking this stuff in. Anyway, discovered by Chinese cybersecurity firm Chaitin Tech, Ghostcat is a flaw in Tomcat's AGP protocol, stands for Apache JServe protocol, and it's a performance optimized version of the HTTP protocol in binary format. Oh, that sounds amazing. That sounds like HTTP2 or Speedy or HTTP3, but yeah, also maybe, not really sure. So much to performance optimized, in my opinion. By the way, public shout out. Performance optimized usually means similar to military grade, like, yeah, it sounds good, but maybe faster, but yeah, certainly some, if it's some custom protocol, certainly some non-standard issues lurking inside there, like a 13 years undiscovered security vulnerability. Can steal configs, plant backdoors. They say, for example, hackers could read app, we had this already. Vulnerable is extensive, to say at least, impacts all 6, 7, 8, 9 version branches of Apache Tomcat. 6 was released in February 2007, meaning that all Tomcat versions, yes, we had this already. Multiple demo exploits available in GitHub, so better don't delay and update today. Yeah, certainly for this issue, update today in general. How to, as per previous comments and requests, how to avoid, don't use overcomplicated setups, and best review this stuff. But the problem is also millions of lines of code you can't review yourself in your lifetime. So that is why certainly we should in general keep the trusted code base as small as possible. Speaking about trusted code base, IOTA or IOTA, or how to even probably whatever example of how centralized Centralization can destroy $1 billion cryptocurrency. Not only centralization also centralization and also web services, right? I found this headline, the news was on many sites, but I found this headline quite matching of, in general, centralization at Apple back in decades ago, or still with Microsoft. Also centralization, one stuff, single point of failure. Now the new iOS of global, of mobile stuff. And also Google of search, like centralization. If Google is down, then most of our searches is down. Or Amazon Web Services, Google engine stuff, and Microsoft Azure. Single point of failure, centralization and stuff can destroy your small or $1 billion business or cryptocurrency. Network is down for 2 weeks now, and maybe down another 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years or forever. Has lost 40% of its value so far, like no shit Sherlock with the security vulnerability and downtime, then the value. Personally, you know my opinion already, not the greatest fan of cryptocurrency stuff for all this vulnerabilities and also other blockchain stuff of burning all our energy and stuff and electrons for crypto transactions. So it has been down since February the 12th, meaning a lot for this networks there. Send and receive transactions. Also, amazing currency, right? You have a currency and can't use it anymore, which in general I advise usually people not to invest in this stuff because like stock market can go down and stuff and not based on a real value but some trading stuff. Lost 40% of its value. We had this already, previous article written, something shut down, deep dive situation of the time. Essentially, wallet was hacked for 2 million due to being cryptographically insecure. Yeah, that is an amazing cryptocurrency, right? That is cryptographically insecure. It's like, yeah, exactly. And raise your hand if you did not see this coming. Coordinator of the centralized mechanism controlled by the IOTA Foundation or IOTA or whatever, which can shut down the network or reject specific transaction given the IOTA Foundation full centralized control. Yeah, leave in the comments below what you think of all this stuff, cryptocurrency, blockchain and stuff. We have comments already here. Welcome everyone. The Graver didn't use Tomcat in 20 years. Probably that was according to this security vulnerabilities. Anyway, for better, updated today all 30 users. Update today all 30 users of Tomcat still out there. I have the feeling there might be more of those. And the Graver agrees that cryptocurrency is just a major disaster waiting to happen, especially even Bitcoin. If you are saying no, yeah, but Bitcoin, I mentioned this already probably 3, 4, 5 times here on all those videos and live streams. In my opinion, total waste of energy and resources. Certainly everything better spent on anything else than cryptographic transactions. And again, in Bitcoin, barely someone use it for real payments. Everyone only, like 99% only use it for speculation. So yeah. In similar news to the initial paper story, a German court here, some public group here has sued PayPal for 80 pages of fine print, end user license agreement, and unfortunately they lost the case. And I put this here, so not only I also read in previous videos if you want to read there, and also in general if I'm not pushing out a video or live streaming a day, you can just go through the old videos for sure. There's plenty of content for you. I also read the Apple end user license agreement of the App Store, including they can shut it down at any time and can be sued and stuff. In my opinion, similar to this PayPal stuff, in my opinion, this user rights group here is totally right. 80 pages of fine print, you cannot tell me. Similar to the App Store video I made, you cannot tell me. Even I barely read it. And I at least I scroll through this stuff. This is why I'm of those people who notice this bullshit, like all the Apple App Store bullshit. But 80 pages, you cannot tell me that one single user has ever read this bullshit. And in my opinion, courts, this is German courts sometimes siding with end user right affairs like this. But really, I hope they go to a higher instance because in my opinion, this should be stopped. And the judges, I read this here already previously, the judges said here the longest sentence is composed out of 111 words, like seriously, what the fuck. But thankfully we are a German and European broadcast, we can say this. But if you print this on standard German office paper, DIN ISO A4, 80 pages, is it, what do they have here, 80 pages, 80 pages printed A4 paper. And although the judges said that if they have, like it sounds here, like if they have sued with a slightly different wording and argued with a slightly different wording, they might have won the case. So I hope they redo this or continue this. And PayPal did not agree to this critics, like, yeah, this sentence with 111 words, no, we do not agree that this sentence is too complicated with 111 words. But so the judge said here somewhere that the judges mentioned there that it sounds like they violate the stuff should be transparent, so they might violate some transparency laws. But so I hope they use this to make a more successful continuation of this case, because you can, in my opinion, it should not be enforceable when nobody seriously reads this. And similar to the Apple stuff, I mean, I said this, so not even as developer can we scratch some sentences that we don't like, but even as a user, you cannot use a bloody iPhone or Mac without agreeing to this stuff. And even there on your software end user license agreement, 99.99% are ever going to read this. And you could argue, certainly, or in a law case will be argued, it's the fault of the user not reading this legal bullshit there. But on the other hand, in my opinion, if it would be one page, I would argue, sure, it's always the user's fault, but with 80 pages that nobody's going to read, there should also be some government-backed framework that this cannot be enforced for pure insanity of unreasonable legalized. Leave me in the comments below what you think, but in my opinion, this is certainly crazy. And Carlos is there. Comment to the audience, did I have some contact with Fedora? Not really directly, why are you asking? In similar news, Apple, like talking about Apple has blocked Clearview AI iPhone app for violating its rules, right? There's rules of 80 pages, so allegedly something, or maybe only 40 iPhone app. So while I agree, certainly this Clearview, probably we had this in last week's news here, this is not amazing law enforcement, face recognition stuff. But whether I agree or not with this specific app, I don't agree that Apple can just censor these apps. Imagine a Windows PC like Microsoft had with all the monopole lawsuits, their class action suits and whatnot of Microsoft over using their monopoly powers. At least they could so far never forbid you running your own app on Windows. But this is now the case increasingly on the Mac. Without a certificate and signature from Apple, you would need to disable all the security buttons and bells and whistles and features. But certainly on the iPhone, it is impossible without Apple's certificate blessing. And being this a little bit shady, but again, this is an app the government wants. This is also this government state actor shady business of these times, in my opinion. But agreeing with this app or not, it should not be in Apple's rights. So like police and private investigators and all their shady customers of theirs can't use this app anymore. Well, they could switch to Android certainly, which probably you should do. But in my opinion, this is not the right track for the future. If we own a device, we should be able to install something. This also comes down to, if you have this device, I said this already 100 times, an old iPhone, or simply you don't like it anymore, you finally want to load your own software, you can't even do it without sophisticated crypto analysis and hacking the bootloader and the boot crypto here of loading here some of your own software, like your own Linux on an iPhone, which is technically possible if you just wanted to, and people did already with old iPhones. But again, with iPods, like iPads being computers, why, whether you call it a computer or not, certainly I wouldn't. But with that being said, if you own the device, if you buy the device, you should be able, in my opinion, always to install your own software, like you are able to install another engine in your car, to change the brakes, to remodel your house, to do whatever, tear down your house, build a new house, or all the other examples, certainly a PC, and especially Apple calling an iPad a computer, in my opinion, completely unreasonable, that they got to decide what you and me run on our computers. But speaking about little minor news here, I know that we talk about this, probably Apple, iPhone, good guys, movie. There was another in between that only here of allegedly Apple won't let bad guys in movies have iPhones, which is also in a similar, like, yeah, I mean, what the heck is with that? That, by the way, also I heard that maybe the not amazing end user license agreement states that you are not allowed to film, like the 40 pages, right, of iPhone or Apple end user license agreement. So maybe you're not legally allowed to actually record stuff showing an iPhone or Mac or Apple logo. And certainly maybe for the reason that Apple can then forbid, like, Hollywood studios to use Apple devices in a certain way. But this is also hilarious, right? Setting, like, brainwashing and reality distortion field their customers that iPhones are the good and only the bad guys have something else, which is like a total American society brainwash, like you would think of 2020. So yeah, TV and also Apple products often only seen in the hands of good guys. Where is it? Hands of a good guy on the screen, notably in one popular TV drama, 24. And I slightly wonder if we find this, which is also, yeah, Apple already telling you how you are allowed to film. By the way, iPhone end user license agreement. Do we find this online here? Legal licensed application end user license agreement. Is this one for the iPhone or Mac apps? Licensed application, not really sure. Maybe search directly for movie. Anyway, maybe I research this another day, not live on YouTube. But certainly, yeah, fun times we live in. Speaking about fun times we live in and Apple calling it a computer, allegedly, apparently, maybe some people speculate from the usual rumors, Apple's planning to have an iPad keyboard with trackpads, like coming full circle and reinventing the mouse and trackpad in 2020 for your iPad computer. Certainly, after telling us touch is amazing and magic and the best, well, certainly you can't get much done, but whatever. You also need the keyboard accessory with a trackpad in 2020. It's like seriously making the trackpad great again. Yeah, I wonder how, yeah, certainly. I wonder how this fits into the Apple reality distortion field of Apple fans. Certainly Microsoft was a little bit earlier there with the Surface and the keyboard with trackpad. But yeah, so much to coming full circle in innovative device design, and it's like AI and AR and projected stuff was yesterday 2020 or 2021, and the trackpad is great again. Welcome everyone. Swiss France, probably your best bet for security. What the heck? Wasn't the iPad all not having laptop keyboard? And yeah, also I wonder how amazing this will fit in then with full applications. But and again, dark future. So not only again to the previous Apple is deciding what you are. I changed the story to Apple is already deciding what you can have on your iOS device and soon maybe to your computer when also rumored ARM MacBooks. But certainly maybe the ARM MacBooks will be just, maybe this will be the ARM MacBooks actually, could be, right? And yeah, certainly this future on this ARM MacBook, maybe no Linux ever. We will see how open, or well, the current Mac's already not the most open. But yeah, certainly in general, with all the hardware bugs and design fails, few ports and other user non-serviceable flash memory, battery and stuff not recommended here anyway. So yeah. In last but not least, Boeing's latest and greatest development in testing, or the lack thereof. Boeing didn't conduct end-to-end tests on Starliner before its failed flight. Certainly they thought end-to-end testing is for rocket companies. Oh, wait, what? Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah, company divided tests into small chunks and failed to spot issues that led to the flight's failure. And yeah, can't build reliable airplanes apparently, and Starliners. Yeah, testing is for dummies, and yeah, 100% end-to-end testings, like, yeah, rocket, it's not rocket science, what could possibly go wrong? Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you learned something. Certainly a recurring theme of not the most secure state in the IT industry. I hope you learned something. Share, like and subscribe if you want to support this show, and encourage your friends and family to subscribe and learn something about IT and security. Probably I have some more things to say about that sometime soon. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for all the new subscribers on the more main content and this more random lab channel. Each channel growing quite nicely. That is pretty amazing. I now have some FPGA SD card stuff to finish there with my new in-circuit logic analyzer there on this more channel. And I hope to see you soon in the next days for all the next videos and live streams to come.